Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly attract wealth, opportunities, and success, while others struggle endlessly despite working twice as hard? But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. What if I told you that the difference between those who command abundance and those who chase it desperately isn't luck, connections, or even talent, but something far more fundamental that you possess right now, at this very moment? It's something so simple, yet so powerful, that once you understand it, you'll never look at your own voice the same way again. Think about the last time you walked into a room and someone immediately caught your attention, not because they were shouting or demanding to be noticed, but because there was something in their presence, an invisible authority that seemed to bend the very air around them. Has this ever happened to you? That moment when you felt that magnetic pull towards someone who carried themselves with absolute certainty? Here's what most people don't realize. That same silent authority exists within your words. Every single time you speak, you're not just communicating, you're commanding reality itself. Florence Scovel Shinn understood this profound truth when she revealed that the universe doesn't respond to our struggles, our endless planning, or our desperate efforts. Instead, it responds to something much more immediate and powerful: our assumptions. Your assumptions aren't just thoughts floating in your mind. They're carried on the vibration of your voice, transmitted through every word you speak. When you truly understand how to harness this invisible force, something extraordinary happens. The words you speak with certainty become reality's blueprint, the exact instructions that the universe follows without question. But here's where it gets fascinating, and this might surprise you. Most people are unconsciously using this power in reverse. Every time they say, "I can't afford this," or "money is hard to come by," they're not just expressing an opinion. They're actually placing an order with the universe, commanding lack instead of abundance. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover will completely transform how you speak, how you think, and ultimately, how money responds to you. The truth is, your voice carries the same energy that shapes galaxies and directs the flow of life itself. When spoken with true authority, your words don't just describe your reality, they create it. This isn't some mystical concept or wishful thinking. It's a mechanical law that operates whether you're aware of it or not. Right now, as you're watching this, your subconscious mind is already beginning to recognize something it has always known, but perhaps forgotten. You have within you the power to speak wealth into existence, to command opportunities, to decree abundance. The question isn't whether this power exists. The question is whether you're ready to claim it. What you're about to learn in the next few minutes will show you exactly how to flip this switch, how to transform from someone who begs the universe for scraps to someone who commands it with absolute authority. If these insights are shifting something inside you, this channel is where I regularly share the deeper mechanics of conscious creation that most people never discover. Subscribe so you don't miss the next breakthrough that's meant for you. The transformation begins the moment you recognize a hidden truth that most people never discover. Every day, millions of people unknowingly sabotage their own financial destiny with 3 simple words that act like poison to prosperity. You've probably said them yourself countless times without realizing their devastating impact on your reality. I hope, I wish, I want. These aren't just innocent expressions of desire. They're commands of lack, direct instructions to the universe to keep what you want just out of reach. When you say, "I hope I get that promotion," you're literally programming delay into your experience. When you whisper, "I wish I had more money," you're reinforcing the very absence you're trying to escape. The universe hears these phrases and responds with mathematical precision. Your wish is my command. You shall continue hoping, wishing, and wanting. But here's where this journey takes a fascinating turn. Behind the scenes of every great fortune in history, every empire that rose from nothing, every breakthrough that seemed impossible, there was always the same catalyst. Not a wish, not a hope, not a desperate want, but a declaration so firm it bent reality itself. Think about the most successful person you know personally. Have you ever noticed how they speak about money, opportunities, or their goals? They don't say, "I hope my business succeeds." They declare, "My business is thriving." They don't wish for clients. They state, "Clients come to me effortlessly." This isn't arrogance or positive thinking. It's the mechanical application of a universal law that governs how energy moves in response to authority. When Henry Ford declared, "I will build a motor car for the great multitude," the automobile industry didn't exist as we know it today. When Walt Disney announced he would create the happiest place on earth in the middle of orange groves, people called him crazy. These weren't dreamers hoping for the best. They were commanders issuing decrees to reality, and reality had no choice but to rearrange itself to match their unwavering certainty. The difference between those who accumulate wealth and those who struggle isn't in their circumstances, their education, or their connections. It's in the vibrational frequency of their words. Those who command prosperity speak as if abundance is already flowing to them, while those who chase it speak from a place of need, lack, and separation from what they desire. Your voice carries a frequency, and that frequency either attracts or repels what you claim to want. When you speak with the energy of begging, even politely, even silently in your mind, you create resistance. But when you speak with the quiet confidence of someone who knows their words are law, something shifts in the fabric of your experience. Now, I want to go even deeper into this revelation because what you're about to understand will completely change how you see the relationship between your inner world and the money that shows up in your physical reality. Write in the comments, "I'm ready to command," if this is starting to make sense to you. The revelation that Florence Scovel Shinn uncovered decades ago challenges everything we've been taught about how reality works. She didn't speak in metaphors or offer feel-good philosophy. She revealed a mechanical truth that operates with the precision of gravity itself. Your word is law. Not symbolically, not inspirationally, but literally. Every single syllable you speak sends out a vibrational command that the universe must obey without question, without delay, without negotiation. This isn't some mystical concept. It's the hidden operating system behind everything you see in your physical world right now. But here's the shocking part of this journey of transformation. Most people use this incredible power to systematically destroy their own financial potential. They've unknowingly become masters at commanding limitation. When someone says, "Maybe someday I'll have enough money," they're not expressing hope. They're issuing a decree for perpetual delay. When they whisper, "I hope I get a raise," they're literally programming uncertainty into their career trajectory. The impact of this unconscious self-sabotage runs deeper than most people realize. Your subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between what you want and what you're actually commanding through your words. It simply executes the instructions you give it through your speech patterns. Say, "Money is tight," enough times, and your subconscious will work overtime to prove you right. Declare, "I can never get ahead," and watch how creative your mind becomes at maintaining that exact reality. Behind the scenes of every financial struggle is a person who has accidentally become a master at commanding what they don't want. They've perfected the art of weak language, phrases that push success away like a magnetic force operating in reverse. "I don't know if I can afford it. It's probably not going to work out. Good things don't happen to people like me." Each of these statements isn't just negative thinking. It's a precise instruction to your reality-creating mechanism. Your subconscious hears these commands and immediately begins orchestrating circumstances, opportunities, and decisions that align perfectly with what you've declared as truth. The most successful people you've ever observed have one thing in common. They speak as if their success is inevitable, not because they're arrogant or delusional, but because they intuitively understand that their words are creating their reality moment by moment. They've learned to speak with the authority of someone whose commands must be obeyed. This mindset shift isn't about positive thinking or affirmations. It's about recognizing the raw power you've always possessed, but may have been using in reverse. When you truly grasp that every word carries the force of law, everything changes. You stop speaking casually about money, about opportunities, about your future, because you realize you're literally designing your experience with every sentence. Now let's explore exactly how this invisible force operates in your daily life, because once you see the pattern, you'll never speak the same way again. Write in the comments, "My words create reality," if you're beginning to see how powerful this really is. The universe operates on a hierarchy of energy, and at the top of that hierarchy sits one undeniable force: authority. Not the kind of authority that shouts or demands attention, but the quiet certainty that comes from someone who knows their words carry weight. This is where most people's financial transformation gets derailed before it even begins. When you hope for something, you're literally telling the universe to keep it at a distance. Hope implies separation. It says, "I don't have this, but maybe someday I might." Want creates an even more insidious delay because it programs your subconscious to maintain the state of wanting rather than having. Wishes are perhaps the weakest of all because they carry the energy of powerlessness, as if you're dependent on external forces to grant you permission for prosperity. This channel exists for people who are ready to understand how reality actually works beyond surface-level thinking. If you're someone who wants to dive deeper into these transformative principles, subscribe and join others who are committed to mastering their creative power. The universe doesn't respond to hesitation, pleading, or uncertainty. It only bends for authority and absolute certainty. Think about this for a moment. When you watch someone who truly commands respect in any room they enter, do they ask for permission to be heard? Do they hope people will listen? Of course not. They speak with the quiet confidence of someone whose words matter, and everyone around them feels that magnetic pull of authentic authority. Behind the scenes of every unanswered prayer, every ineffective affirmation, every repeated mantra that produces no results, is the same missing ingredient: the weight of command. Most people have been taught to approach the universe like beggars at a cosmic soup kitchen, politely asking for scraps and wondering why abundance continues to elude them. Your words either carry the weight of law or they become background noise that reality completely ignores. This revelation explains why two people can say almost identical affirmations. One experiences miraculous shifts, while the other sees no change whatsoever. It's not about the words themselves, it's about the energetic frequency behind those words. One person speaks with the authority of someone whose commands must be obeyed, while the other speaks with the tentative energy of someone asking for permission. This mindset shift is crucial to understand because it changes everything about how you approach your relationship with money, opportunities, and success. When you speak from authority, you're not negotiating with the universe, you're informing it of what is now true. You're not hoping for a better financial situation. You're declaring that prosperity flows to you as naturally as rivers flow to the ocean. The journey from weakness to authority happens in your voice first, then manifests in your reality. Every time you catch yourself saying, "I hope," or "maybe," or "if only," you have a choice. You can continue speaking from that powerless position, or you can make the decision to speak with the certainty of someone whose words create worlds. Now, I want to reveal the exact moment when this invisible switch gets flipped, because understanding this precise transformation will change how you see your own power forever. Write in the comments, "I speak with authority," if you're ready to make this shift in your own voice. The moment of true transformation happens when you make a decision that seems almost too simple to be powerful, yet it changes everything about how reality responds to you. Florence Scovel Shinn discovered that the difference between those who struggle and those who thrive isn't found in their circumstances, their background, or their connections. It's found in this single shift. They stop asking and start declaring. This isn't feel-good philosophy or motivational theory. This is pure mechanics of manifestation, as predictable and reliable as any law of physics. When you truly understand this hidden truth, you realize that every moment you spend asking the universe for something, you're actually reinforcing the very absence of what you desire. The impact of this revelation hits most people like a lightning bolt. All those years of begging, pleading, hoping, and wishing weren't bringing them closer to their dreams. They were programming delay and separation into their experience. But the instant you make the internal shift from asking to declaring, from hoping to assuming, something remarkable happens in the invisible realm behind your physical reality. Money begins to redirect itself toward you through channels you never could have planned. Locked doors that seemed permanently sealed suddenly swing open with ease. People you've never met before appear in your life, carrying opportunities that align perfectly with your declarations. To observers, it looks like an incredible series of coincidences, but you'll know the truth. It's the mechanical response of a universe that has no choice but to obey authoritative commands. This transformation happens because you've stepped into the role you were always meant to play. Instead of being a supplicant, begging for scraps from a distant universe, you become the authority issuing decrees that reality must fulfill. Your entire energetic signature shifts from neediness to certainty, from lack to abundance, from powerlessness to command. The journey from asking to declaring can happen in a single breath, in one decisive moment when you choose to speak as if your success is not a possibility, but an accomplished fact. Instead of saying, "I hope money comes to me," you declare, "Money flows to me effortlessly." Instead of asking, "Please let this opportunity work out," you state, "This opportunity serves my highest good perfectly." Behind the scenes of your consciousness, your subconscious mind immediately begins reorganizing your perceptions, decisions, and actions to align with these new commands. It stops looking for evidence of lack and starts recognizing abundance everywhere. It stops expecting struggle and starts attracting ease. It stops preparing for disappointment and starts orchestrating success. This shift in your internal dialogue creates ripples that extend far beyond what you can see or measure, influencing the very fabric of possibilities that surround you. Now, let me show you exactly how to harness this power with precision, because once you master this specific technique, you'll never question your ability to command prosperity again. Write in the comments, "I declare my success," if you're ready to step into this new way of being. The most liberating truth about this entire transformation is that you don't need years of training, months of meditation, or countless hours of practice to step into your commanding voice. This isn't a skill you have to develop over time. It's a power you can claim in a single, decisive moment. The instant you make the internal decision that your words are final rather than tentative, everything shifts. Most people believe they need to gradually build up to this level of authority, as if they have to earn the right to speak with certainty. But that's just another story that keeps them trapped in the asking phase. The truth is, you already possess this power. You've always had it. The only thing standing between you and complete financial transformation is your decision to own it. Picture this scenario that plays out thousands of times every day around the world. Two people walk into the exact same opportunity. Maybe it's a job interview, a business meeting, or a chance encounter that could change their financial future. They have identical qualifications, similar backgrounds, and equal potential. Yet one walks away with everything they wanted, while the other leaves empty-handed. The difference isn't luck, timing, or favoritism. It's in the energy they carry and the certainty behind their words. The first person approaches the opportunity thinking, "I hope this works out for me," while the second declares internally, "This works for me perfectly." That subtle shift in mindset creates a completely different energetic signature that people feel instantly, even if they can't consciously explain why. Behind the scenes of this interaction, something profound is happening. The person who speaks with authority, even silently to themselves, commands the respect and cooperation of everyone around them. Their certainty becomes contagious. Decision-makers find themselves naturally inclined to say yes. Obstacles seem to dissolve without effort. Resources appear exactly when needed. Meanwhile, the person who approaches with hope rather than certainty unconsciously signals uncertainty to everyone they encounter. Their tentative energy creates doubt in others' minds. Questions arise where there should be confidence. Delays materialize where there should be swift action. This isn't about manipulation or fake confidence. It's about understanding that reality literally rearranges itself around the frequency of your inner conviction. When you know with absolute certainty that opportunities exist to serve you, they do. When you declare that money moves in your direction, it has no choice but to obey that command. The journey from hoping to commanding requires only one decision, but it's a decision that most people are afraid to make because it means taking full responsibility for their financial reality. It means no more excuses, no more waiting for perfect conditions, no more blaming external circumstances. Now let me share with you the exact moment when this power becomes undeniable, because once you experience it for yourself, you'll never doubt your ability to bend reality again. Write in the comments, "I command my reality," if you're ready to make this decisive shift today. The most profound revelation in this entire journey is recognizing that your life has never been waiting for outside permission, approval, or the perfect circumstances to unfold. It's been waiting for something far more immediate and powerful: your decision to claim the inner authority you've always possessed but may have forgotten how to use. Most people spend their entire lives looking externally for validation before they dare to speak with confidence about their financial future. They wait for their bank account to give them permission to feel abundant. They wait for their boss to approve their worth before they can speak with certainty about their value. They wait for society to validate their dreams before they dare to declare them as inevitable realities. But here's the hidden truth that changes everything. The universe doesn't respond to external credentials, achievements, or approval from others. It responds to the frequency of your inner conviction, to the authority with which you speak about your own life. When you finally understand this, you realize that every moment you've spent waiting for permission has been time spent delaying your own transformation. The impact of this mindset shift is immediate and undeniable. The second you stop seeking external validation and start speaking from inner authority, people around you feel the change. Opportunities that seemed closed suddenly become available. Resources that appeared scarce begin flowing in your direction. It's as if reality itself recognizes that you've finally stepped into the role you were always meant to play. Behind the scenes of every financial struggle is someone who has unknowingly been stripping power from their own voice through the language of uncertainty. Every time you say, "I don't know if I can afford this," you're literally commanding doubt into your financial experience. When you whisper, "Maybe someday things will get better," you're programming delay into your prosperity timeline. These aren't just negative thoughts. They're precise instructions to your subconscious mind to maintain limitation. The transformation happens when you realize that uncertain language doesn't just reflect powerlessness, it creates it. Your subconscious mind hears every maybe, every I don't know, every hopefully as a command to remain in a state of confusion and delay. But the moment you replace that uncertain language with declarations of certainty, everything begins to reorganize itself around your new commands. This journey from seeking permission to claiming authority requires a fundamental shift in how you see yourself in relationship to money, opportunities, and success. Instead of being someone who hopes the universe will notice them and grant them favor, you become someone whose words carry the weight of law because you've finally remembered who you really are. Now, I want to show you exactly how this plays out in the most practical aspects of your daily life, because understanding the mechanics of this transformation will help you recognize your own power in action. Write in the comments, "I claim my authority," if you're ready to stop waiting for permission and start commanding your reality. The universe operates with a mechanical precision that most people never recognize, and understanding this changes everything about how you approach your financial reality. Here's the revelation that will shift your entire perspective. The universe doesn't judge your commands as good or bad, positive or negative. It simply obeys them with mathematical accuracy, whether you're commanding abundance or accidentally programming lack into your experience. When someone repeatedly says, "It never works for me," the universe responds with perfect obedience. "Correct. I will ensure nothing works for you." When they declare, "Money is always tight," reality immediately begins organizing circumstances to maintain that exact financial pressure. This isn't punishment or bad luck. It's pure mechanical response to the commands they're unknowingly issuing through their consistent speech patterns. The journey of understanding this universal law reveals something both empowering and sobering. You are always commanding your reality, whether you realize it or not. Your voice carries the same creative power, whether you're declaring prosperity or poverty, success or struggle, connection or isolation. The universe gives you loneliness when you consistently say, "No one helps me," and it floods your life with supportive people when you command, "Assistance flows to me effortlessly." Behind the scenes of every chronic pattern in your life is a set of words you've repeated so consistently that they've become automatic commands to your subconscious and, by extension, to the fabric of reality itself. This revelation can initially feel overwhelming because it means taking complete responsibility for the words you've been speaking, but it's also the most liberating discovery you can make. The transformation begins when you recognize that if your voice has been powerful enough to create limitation, struggle, and lack, then it's certainly powerful enough to create abundance, ease, and prosperity. You've already proven your creative power. You've just been using it unconsciously in directions that haven't served your highest good. Every time you've said, "I can't catch a break," you've commanded struggle. Every time you've declared, "Good things don't happen," to people like me, you've programmed disappointment. But here's the beautiful part of this revelation. The same voice that created these limitations can instantly command their opposite. Your subconscious mind doesn't argue with your declarations. It simply accepts them as truth and begins reorganizing your perceptions, decisions, and actions to align with whatever you've declared as real. This is why changing your internal dialogue creates immediate shifts in your external circumstances. Now, let me reveal the specific command that activates this power in the most direct way possible, because once you understand how to use this precise phrase, you'll never question your ability to bend financial reality again. Write in the comments, "My voice is law," if you're starting to see how powerful your words have always been. The moment you shift from whispering weakness to declaring certainty, something extraordinary happens that you can actually feel in your physical body. These aren't just words floating in the air. They're commands that strike like lightning, creating an immediate energetic shift that reverberates through every cell of your being. When you speak with true authority, your nervous system responds instantly, your posture changes, and your entire presence transforms. Most people have never experienced this because they've spent their lives speaking tentatively, apologetically, uncertainly. But the instant you declare something with absolute conviction, not shouting, not forcing, just speaking with quiet certainty, you feel the electricity of that command moving through you. It's unmistakable, undeniable, and it changes everything about how you show up in the world. This transformation happens because you've finally aligned your voice with your true creative power. Every single word you speak is a seed being planted in the fertile soil of reality. And here's the profound truth that most people never grasp. Reality doesn't argue with what you plant. It doesn't judge your seeds as good or bad, worthy or unworthy. It simply takes whatever you give it and multiplies it with mechanical precision. The impact of understanding this metaphor changes your entire relationship with language. When you realize that saying, "I'm broke," plants seeds of poverty that reality will faithfully multiply, you become extraordinarily careful about what you're cultivating through your speech. When you understand that declaring, "Money flows to me easily," plants seeds of abundance that must grow into your experience, you begin to speak with the reverence of a master gardener. Behind the scenes of your daily conversations, this seeding process is happening constantly. Every complaint about lack is planting more lack. Every declaration of struggle is ensuring more struggle. But every statement of prosperity, every word of certainty, every phrase of abundance is also being multiplied and returned to you as lived experience. The journey from unconscious seeding to deliberate creation begins with a simple decision to treat your words as sacred tools of manifestation rather than casual expressions of whatever mood you happen to be in. Your subconscious mind is listening to every word, accepting each one as an instruction about what kind of reality to create for you. This is why people who consistently speak about prosperity tend to experience it, while those who constantly discuss their financial struggles continue to live in limitation. It's not coincidence or luck. It's the natural result of what they've been planting through their persistent speech patterns. Now, let me show you the exact words that create the most powerful seeds of all. Because when you plant these specific commands in the soil of reality, the harvest is immediate and undeniable. Write in the comments, "I plant prosperity," if you're ready to become conscious about the seeds you're planting through your words. The revelation that transformation can happen instantly challenges everything most people have been taught about change. They've been conditioned to believe that shifting their financial reality requires months or years of gradual progress. But this is simply another limiting belief that keeps them trapped in slow manifestation. The truth is far more powerful and immediate. The moment you make the decision to step into authority and stop whispering your desires like apologies, life has no choice but to rearrange itself around your new commands. This isn't gradual improvement or slow progress. This is instant reorganization of reality itself. Your subconscious mind doesn't need time to process your new declarations. It doesn't require a transition period to accept your upgraded commands. The second you speak with genuine authority, every system in your being aligns to support that new frequency, and the universe begins moving resources, people, and opportunities to match your elevated state. Behind the scenes of this instant transformation is a hidden truth about how energy works. When you finally stop speaking tentatively and start declaring with certainty, you create what can only be described as a magnetic field around yourself. This isn't metaphorical. It's a literal shift in your energetic signature that people feel immediately, even if they can't consciously explain why they're suddenly drawn to help you, work with you, or offer you opportunities. Watch someone who carries true authority when they enter any space. They don't announce themselves loudly or desperately seek attention, yet every person in the room becomes aware of their presence. Their energy naturally commands respect and cooperation because they're not asking for it. They're simply embodying the frequency of someone whose words matter. This same magnetic quality exists around successful people and wealth itself. The journey from desperation to magnetic authority happens in your internal dialogue first, then manifests in how others respond to you. When you stop chasing money with the energy of neediness and start commanding it with quiet certainty, you flip the polarity completely. Instead of pursuing opportunities, opportunities begin pursuing you. Instead of convincing people of your value, they instinctively recognize and respect it. This transformation in your presence happens because you've aligned with a fundamental law of energy. Authority attracts, desperation repels. Every time someone begs for financial success, they're unconsciously signaling scarcity to everyone around them. But when someone speaks and moves with the quiet confidence of inevitable prosperity, they become a magnet for the very resources they once chased desperately. The impact of this shift extends far beyond money. It affects every relationship, every interaction, every opportunity that comes into your life. People respond to your energy before they even hear your words. And when that energy carries the frequency of authority rather than need, everything changes. Now, let me reveal the precise moment when this magnetic transformation becomes undeniable, because understanding this will show you exactly how to activate this power in your own life. Write in the comments, "I attract with authority," if you can feel this shift beginning in your own energy. The most sobering revelation in this entire journey is recognizing that the universe has been obeying your voice with perfect precision your entire life, not just when you speak positively, but especially when you speak doubt, limitation, and fear. This truth can initially feel overwhelming because it means acknowledging that every pattern of struggle in your life has been, in part, a response to the commands you've been unconsciously issuing through your consistent speech patterns. Most people accidentally become masters at commanding exactly what they don't want. They perfect the art of declaring limitation with phrases like, "I never have," "enough money," "nothing ever goes my way," or "I'm just not lucky with opportunities." Each of these statements isn't just negative thinking. It's a precise instruction to your subconscious mind and, by extension, to the organizing intelligence of the universe itself. The frightening aspect of this realization is that it reveals how powerful you've always been, even when using that power unconsciously. If your voice has been strong enough to create and maintain patterns of financial struggle, relationship difficulties, or missed opportunities, then it's certainly powerful enough to create their opposite. You've already proven your creative ability. You've just been creating in directions that haven't served your highest good. Behind the scenes of every chronic struggle is someone who has unknowingly become an expert at reinforcing limitation through repetitive speech patterns. But here's where the journey takes a dramatic turn toward empowerment. The same voice that created these patterns can instantly flip them. The same creative power that maintained scarcity can immediately command abundance. This transformation doesn't require years of undoing old programming or slowly building new habits. The moment you consciously flip your commands from limitation to authority, from doubt to certainty, from scarcity to abundance, reality begins reorganizing itself around your new declarations. It's not gradual, it's immediate, because your subconscious mind doesn't argue with authoritative commands. The impact of this realization changes everything about how you approach your financial future. Instead of seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances beyond your control, you recognize yourself as the author of your experience. Instead of hoping external conditions will change, you understand that changing your internal dialogue changes everything externally. This mindset shift from unconscious creation to deliberate command represents the moment when you step into true, personal power. You're no longer accidentally programming limitation. You're consciously designing prosperity. Now, let me reveal the exact words that activate this flip most powerfully, because when you speak this specific command, you'll feel the atmosphere itself respond to your authority. Write in the comments, "I flip my reality now," if you're ready to consciously use this power for abundance. Florence Scovel Shinn discovered something that revolutionizes how we understand the relationship between our daily conversations and our financial reality. She realized that most people have become unconscious masters at commanding exactly what they don't want. Every time someone says, "I can't afford that," they're not just describing their current situation. They're issuing a decree of limitation that reality multiplies endlessly. The journey from poverty commands to prosperity declarations begins with recognizing how often you speak limitation into your experience without even realizing it. Phrases like, "Money doesn't grow on trees," "I'm always broke by the end of the month," or "Rich people are lucky," aren't just casual observations. They're precise instructions to your subconscious about what kind of financial reality to create and maintain for you. Behind the scenes of every financial struggle is someone who has accidentally perfected the art of commanding delay and scarcity. They've developed an unconscious habit of speaking about money as if it's scarce, difficult to obtain, or meant for other people. Each of these declarations becomes a seed planted in the fertile soil of their subconscious mind, growing into the exact limitations they keep experiencing. The transformation happens when you realize that if you've been powerful enough to command poverty through your speech patterns, you're certainly powerful enough to command abundance. The same creative force that maintained limitation can instantly create prosperity, but only when you consciously choose to flip your declarations from scarcity to certainty. Most people are actually terrified of claiming this power because deep down, they know the truth about their own voice. They understand intuitively that every time they speak, they're placing an order with reality itself. This is why they often feel uncomfortable when asked to declare prosperity out loud, not because they don't want wealth, but because they recognize the awesome responsibility that comes with knowing their words are literally creative. This fear of their own voice keeps people trapped in patterns of limitation because they're afraid to speak with authority about their financial future. They worry that if they declare abundance and it doesn't immediately appear, they'll look foolish or delusional. But this mindset misses the essential point. They've been declaring limitation for years, and that has appeared with mathematical precision in their experience. The impact of recognizing your voice as a creative force changes everything about how you approach conversations about money, success, and opportunity. You stop speaking casually about finances and start treating every word as sacred, every phrase as a prayer, every declaration as a command that reality must fulfill. Now, I want to reveal the exact moment when this power becomes undeniable, because once you experience the physical sensation of commanding reality, you'll never doubt your creative authority again. Write in the comments, "I choose my commands," if you're ready to take conscious control of what you're creating through your voice. The most profound shift happens when you understand that true command has nothing to do with volume, force, or aggression. The kind of authority that bends reality operates like a whisper that carries more weight than 1,000 shouts. It's the difference between desperately declaring, "I want money so badly," and calmly stating, "Money moves to me now." One carries the energy of need and separation, while the other carries the frequency of inevitability and completion. This transformation in how you speak reveals a hidden truth about the mechanics of manifestation. Your subconscious mind isn't impressed by how loudly you speak or how desperately you plead. It responds to one thing only: the tone of absolute certainty that comes from speaking something as already accomplished rather than hoped for. When you declare, "Money flows to me effortlessly," your subconscious doesn't hear the words as much as it feels the vibrational frequency of that statement. Behind the scenes of your consciousness, something remarkable happens when you speak with quiet authority. Your subconscious mind immediately stops negotiating with doubt and begins aligning every system in your being with that new reality. It doesn't question whether your declaration is true. It simply accepts it as the new operating instruction and begins reorganizing your perceptions, decisions, and actions to match that command. The journey from forceful, wanting to quiet commanding changes everything about your relationship with manifestation. Instead of trying to convince the universe that you deserve abundance, you simply inform it of what is now true. Instead of begging for opportunities to appear, you declare that opportunities align perfectly with your highest good. The energy shifts from desperation to authority, from need to certainty. Most people have never experienced this level of inner authority because they've been conditioned to believe that wanting something badly enough will make it appear. But the universe doesn't respond to the intensity of your desire. It responds to the certainty of your assumption. When you speak with the quiet confidence of someone whose words are law, your subconscious mind has no choice but to make that law manifest in your physical experience. This mindset shift from forceful wanting to authoritative knowing creates an immediate transformation in your energy field that others can feel instantly. People begin responding to you differently because you're no longer speaking from lack, but from fullness, not from hope, but from knowing. The impact of this change extends far beyond money into every area of your life, where you've been trying to force outcomes instead of commanding them with quiet certainty. Now, I want to reveal the exact phrase that activates this quiet power most effectively, because when you speak these specific words with genuine authority, you'll feel reality itself respond to your command. Write in the comments, "I speak with quiet power," if you can feel this shift from wanting to commanding beginning in your own energy. The moment has arrived to reveal the command that changes everything. The phrase so direct and powerful that when spoken with genuine authority, it makes the very atmosphere around you respond. This isn't just another affirmation to repeat mindlessly or a positive thought to think occasionally. This is the decree that flips the switch, the words that establish a new law in your personal reality. Money obeys my command. Feel those words for a moment, not as a hope, not as a wish, not as something you're trying to convince yourself of, but as a simple statement of fact. When you speak this phrase with the quiet certainty of someone whose words carry weight, something shifts in the fabric of your experience that you can actually feel physically. It's not imagination. It's the alignment of your energy. with the truth of what money actually is and how it was always meant to function in your life. The transformation happens because you're finally recognizing the proper relationship between you and financial energy. Money was never designed to be the master that you chase, stress over, and sacrifice your peace for. It was never meant to be the dominant force that dictates your decisions, limits your choices, or keeps you awake at night worrying. That entire dynamic has been reversed from its natural order. Behind the scenes of every financial struggle is someone who has unknowingly placed money in a position of authority over their life. They've made it the master and themselves the servant, constantly trying to please it, constantly worried about losing its favor, constantly begging for its attention and approval. But this is the complete opposite of how the universe intended this relationship to function. The journey from servant to master begins with understanding that money is energy, and energy always flows toward and serves whoever commands it with the greatest authority. When you finally speak with the certainty that money obeys your command, you're not being arrogant or unrealistic. You're claiming the natural hierarchy that was always meant to exist. Your subconscious mind recognizes this truth immediately because it aligns with your deepest nature as a creative being. The moment you declare, "Money obeys my command," with genuine authority, every system in your consciousness begins reorganizing itself around this new reality. Your perceptions shift, your decisions change, your actions align, and most importantly, your energy becomes magnetic to financial opportunities. This mindset shift creates ripple effects that extend far beyond your bank account into every area where you've been giving your power away to external circumstances. Now, I want to show you exactly how to embody this command so completely that money has no choice but to respond, because understanding the mechanics of this transformation will help you recognize when it's working in your life. Write in the comments, "Money obeys my command," if you're ready to claim this natural authority over financial energy. The deeper truth that transforms everything is recognizing that money, at its core, is simply energy in motion, and energy always flows toward whoever commands it with the greatest certainty. This isn't mystical thinking or wishful philosophy. It's observable in every financial interaction you've ever witnessed. When you truly understand this principle, every phrase you've ever spoken about money takes on new significance because you realize you've been commanding energy all along, just not always in directions that served you. Every time you declared, "I can't afford that," you weren't simply describing your current financial situation. You were issuing a precise command to the universal flow of energy to bypass you, to redirect itself away from your experience. When you said, "Money is tight this month," you weren't just making an observation. You were instructing abundance to remain constricted in your reality. These weren't innocent comments. They were unconscious commands that energy had no choice but to obey. The transformation happens when you realize that if your voice has been powerful enough to command energy away from you, it's certainly powerful enough to command it toward you. The same creative force that maintained scarcity can instantly create abundance through a simple shift in how you speak about your financial reality. Behind the scenes of this revelation is something that Florence Scovel Shinn understood with crystal clarity. When she said, "Your word is law," she wasn't speaking poetically or metaphorically. She was revealing a mechanical truth about how consciousness interacts with the fabric of reality itself. Your words carry the same creative force that governs the movement of planets, the flow of rivers, and the growth of forests. This mechanical law operates whether you believe in it or not, whether you're aware of it or not, whether you use it consciously or unconsciously. Every word you speak sends out vibrations that organize the field of possibilities around you. Your subconscious mind receives these vibrations as instructions and immediately begins reshaping your perceptions, decisions, and actions to align with whatever you've declared as true. The journey from accidental commanding to deliberate creation begins with recognizing that you've never been powerless. You've simply been using your power unconsciously. The moment you start speaking with awareness of this mechanical law, everything changes because you're no longer accidentally programming limitation, but consciously designing prosperity. This understanding changes not just how you speak about money, but how you approach every conversation, every internal dialogue, every moment when you have the choice between declaring limitation or commanding abundance. Now, I want to reveal exactly how this mechanical law operates in your daily experience, because once you see the pattern, you'll never doubt your creative authority again. Write in the comments, "Energy follows my command," if you're beginning to feel the power of conscious creation. The magnetic power of command creates an invisible force field around you that operates exactly like the law of attraction, but far more immediate and precise. When you speak the words, "Money obeys my command," with genuine authority, you're not just making a statement, you're creating a vibrational frequency that draws financial energy toward you with the same inevitable force that pulls iron filings toward a magnet. This isn't wishful thinking. It's the observable physics of how confident energy attracts resources while uncertain energy repels them. The contrast is undeniable when you observe it in action. A timid voice whispering, "I hope I can afford this," creates an energetic field of scarcity that actually pushes opportunities away. People feel that uncertainty and unconsciously distance themselves from someone who carries the frequency of lack. But when you speak with the quiet certainty of command, something entirely different happens. Your presence becomes magnetic because you're no longer radiating need, you're emanating authority. Behind the scenes of every financial breakthrough is someone who made the profound shift from being a passive observer of their circumstances to being the active creator of their reality. This transformation happens the moment you recognize a truth that changes everything. You are the one whose words shape worlds, whose declarations become facts, whose commands organize the very fabric of your experience. The journey from permission-seeking to reality-creating begins with understanding that you were never meant to be a victim of external circumstances. You weren't designed to beg the universe for scraps, or wait for someone else to decide your financial fate. From the moment of your first breath, you've possessed the same creative authority that governs the movement of stars and the flow of rivers. You've simply been using it unconsciously. This mindset shift from asking permission to commanding results changes every interaction you have with money, opportunities, and success. Instead of approaching potential employers with the energy of, "Please hire me," you carry the frequency of, "This position aligns perfectly with my purpose." Instead of hoping clients will choose you, you declare, "The right clients come to me effortlessly." The energy shifts from desperation to magnetism, from need to authority. Your subconscious mind recognizes this transformation immediately and begins reorganizing every system in your being to support this new reality. Your posture changes, your voice carries more weight, your decisions become more aligned, and your actions naturally attract the resources you've commanded into existence. Now, I want to show you exactly how to maintain this commanding presence in every area of your life, because consistency in this authority is what transforms occasional successes into permanent prosperity. Write in the comments, "I create my reality," if you're ready to step fully into your role as the conscious designer of your financial future. The real transformation happens when you stop treating this command as something sacred that only belongs in quiet, private moments and start carrying it into the messy, chaotic middle of your actual life. This isn't meant to be a meditation technique you use for 10 minutes each morning before returning to your old patterns of limitation. The power activates when you dare to speak with authority, precisely when your old habits want to resurface. When the unexpected bill arrives in the mail, when doubt starts whispering in your mind, when opportunities feel impossibly distant. Most people compartmentalize their growth, keeping their empowering thoughts separate from their daily reality. They speak with authority in their morning routine, then spend the rest of the day unconsciously reverting to limitation language. But true command doesn't hide in safe spaces. It shows up in the moments when you're tempted to slip back into old patterns of powerlessness. The journey from occasional inspiration to permanent transformation requires you to become vigilant about your speech patterns. In real-time situations, when you're standing in the grocery store calculating whether you can afford what's in your cart, that's when you quietly declare, Money obeys my command. When you're facing a financial decision that feels overwhelming, that's precisely when you speak with the authority of someone whose words carry weight. Behind the scenes of this consistent practice, something profound shifts in your entire nervous system. Your subconscious mind begins to understand that this isn't just positive thinking or temporary motivation. This is your new operating system. The more consistently you speak from authority rather than limitation, the more automatic this mindset becomes until it's no longer something you have to remember to do. The decisive moment arrives when you recognize that you've crossed a threshold from which there's no return. You're no longer someone who begs the universe for scraps, no longer someone who whispers hopes into the void, no longer someone who waits for external permission to claim prosperity. You've transformed into something entirely different, a commander whose declarations carry the force of law. This transformation isn't gradual or partial. It's complete and immediate the moment you fully commit to speaking from this place of authority. Wealth doesn't have a choice but to respond, because you're no longer approaching it from the energy of need but from the frequency of command. Your entire presence shifts from supplication to sovereignty. Now let me show you exactly how to anchor this transformation so deeply that it becomes impossible to return to your old patterns of limitation, because permanence in this authority is what creates lasting financial freedom. Write in the comments, "I am a commander now," if you can feel this complete shift happening in your own energy and speech patterns. Understanding this command as a state of being rather than a temporary technique represents the most crucial shift in this entire transformation. Most people approach "money obeys my command" like it's a magic trick they can perform occasionally when they remember, but this misses the profound truth of what's actually happening. This isn't a phrase you say a few times and then forget. It's a complete reorganization of your identity, a fundamental shift in how you see yourself in relationship to financial energy. Living inside this state of being means that commanding money becomes as natural as breathing, as automatic as your heartbeat. It's not something you have to consciously remember to do because it becomes who you are at the deepest level. Your subconscious mind absorbs this authority so completely that even your unconscious thoughts begin to reflect this new reality. The transformation from occasional practice to permanent state of being happens when you realize that you've been living inside a reversed polarity your entire life. Most people spend their days chasing money, running after opportunities, desperately pursuing clients, frantically networking to find their next break. They've made themselves the follower in a relationship where they were always meant to be the leader. Behind the scenes of this exhausting chase is someone who has unknowingly positioned themselves as subordinate to financial energy. They've made money the master that dictates their schedule, their stress levels, their self-worth, and their life decisions. But this entire dynamic represents a fundamental misunderstanding of how wealth actually flows in the universe. The moment you reverse this polarity, everything changes with startling immediacy. Instead of chasing money, you become the magnetic center toward which it naturally flows. Instead of pursuing opportunities, you become the person that opportunities seek out. Instead of convincing people to work with you, you become someone they feel compelled to approach. This reversal happens because you finally stepped into your natural role as the one who issues commands to financial energy rather than begging it for attention. Money responds to authority, not desperation. Opportunities gravitate towards certainty, not neediness. Wealth flows toward those who command it, not those who chase it. Your entire nervous system recognizes this shift because it aligns with your deepest nature as a creative being. When you stop being the follower and become the leader, when you stop being the beggar and become the commander, your energy signature transforms completely. Now let me reveal exactly how to make this polarity reversal permanent and irreversible. Because once you experience this level of magnetic authority, you'll never want to return to the exhausting cycle of chasing what was always meant to serve you. Write in the comments, "I reverse the polarity now," if you're ready to become the magnetic center that wealth flows toward. The universal law that governs money extends far beyond financial energy into every aspect of human interaction, revealing a hidden truth that transforms how people respond to your very presence. Energy cannot resist authority. It's as fundamental as gravity itself. When you walk into a room carrying the frequency of someone who commands rather than asks, every person in that space feels the shift, even if they can't consciously explain why they suddenly find themselves drawn to listen to you, work with you, or offer you opportunities. This isn't manipulation or social strategy. It's the natural response of energy to genuine authority. People, like money, instinctively move toward those who carry the quiet confidence of command and away from those who radiate neediness or desperation. The transformation happens because you've stopped asking for respect and started emanating the frequency that automatically generates it. Behind the scenes of every magnetic personality, every influential leader, every person who seems to effortlessly attract support and cooperation is someone who has learned to embody this principle. They don't beg for attention, they command it through their presence. They don't ask for opportunities, they become the kind of person that opportunities naturally seek out. The journey from hoping people will notice you to naturally commanding their attention mirrors exactly what happens with financial energy. The same authority that makes money obey your commands makes people instinctively want to be part of your vision, your projects, your success. It's not about charisma or personality. It's about carrying the energy of someone whose words matter. Florence Scovel Shinn understood this when she revealed that assumption hardens into fact. This isn't wishful thinking or positive psychology. It's the mechanical process by which your internal certainty becomes external reality. When you assume that money obeys your command, you're not hoping it will happen someday. You're declaring it as an inevitable fact that your subconscious mind must now prove true through every decision, perception, and action you take. The transformation from hoping to assuming represents the most crucial shift in this entire process. Hope keeps you separate from what you want, but assumption places you inside it. When you assume abundance, you're not waiting for it to arrive. You're living from the certainty that it's already flowing to you through channels you may not yet see, but absolutely trust will appear. This mindset creates a feedback loop where your certainty generates evidence, and that evidence reinforces your certainty, until commanding wealth becomes as natural and automatic as any other unconscious competence you've developed. Now, I want to show you exactly how to make this assumption so complete that it becomes impossible for your old patterns of limitation to resurface, because total embodiment of this authority is what creates permanent prosperity. Write in the comments, "My assumptions become facts," if you can feel this shift from hoping to knowing taking root in your consciousness. The most exciting part of this transformation is learning to recognize the evidence of your new commanding authority as it shows up in your daily experience. Life begins moving differently in ways that might surprise you at first. But once you understand you're witnessing the mechanical response to your commands, everything makes perfect sense. Checks arrive from unexpected sources. Discounts appear on things you need. Clients reach out at precisely the right moment. Former contacts resurface with opportunities that align perfectly with your new declarations. The timing of these shifts might catch you off guard initially because you're witnessing the universe reorganizing itself around your commands faster than your logical mind expected. But the results themselves won't surprise you because deep down, you'll know you commanded them into existence through your consistent authority. Your subconscious mind has been working behind the scenes to align every aspect of your reality with the certainty you've been declaring. This transformation reveals something profound about the true purpose of money in your life. For most people, money functions as an obstacle, the thing that stands between them and their dreams, the barrier that limits their choices, the source of stress that keeps them trapped in unsatisfying situations. But when money finally obeys your command, its entire function shifts from obstacle to bridge. The journey from money as barrier to money as bridge represents one of the most liberating shifts you'll ever experience. Instead of being the thing that stops you from living fully, money becomes the vehicle that carries you toward the life you've always known was possible, but perhaps felt was out of reach. It stops being the master that dictates your decisions and becomes the servant that facilitates your freedom. Behind the scenes of this transformation, your relationship with choice itself evolves dramatically. When money flowed away from you, your options felt limited, your decisions felt forced, your future felt predetermined by circumstances beyond your control. But when money flows toward you in response to your commands, everything opens up. Choices multiply, opportunities expand. The horizon of possibility stretches infinitely in every direction. The impact of this freedom extends far beyond material comfort into the realm of authentic self-expression and purpose. Fulfillment. When money is no longer the limiting factor in your decisions, you can finally choose based on what serves your highest good rather than what pays the bills. You can select projects that inspire you, relationships that nourish you, experiences that expand you. Now, let me reveal the final element that makes this transformation permanent and unshakable, because understanding this will ensure that you never slip back into the old patterns of chasing what was always meant to serve you. Write in the comments, "Money is my bridge to freedom," if you can feel this shift from obstacle to opportunity beginning in your own financial reality. If you've stayed with me through this entire journey, you've just experienced something that most people will never understand about the relationship between their voice and their financial reality. The fact that you're still here tells me you're someone who recognizes the power in these revelations, someone who's ready to step into a completely different way of being. I create these videos because I know there are people like you who are searching for the real mechanisms behind transformation, not just surface-level motivation. If this resonated with you, if you felt that shift happening as we explored these concepts together, consider subscribing to this channel. Each video builds on these foundations, revealing more layers of how consciousness and reality interact in ways that can genuinely change your experience. Write in the comments, "This message was meant for me," if you made it to the end and you can feel something shifting in how you think about your own creative power. I read every comment, and there's something powerful about declaring that you received what was meant for you. If you felt that connection we built over these minutes together, if something clicked as we moved through these ideas, a like on this video helps more people find these concepts when they're ready for them. There's a video right here that takes this even deeper into the practical application of these principles. It explores exactly how to maintain this commanding presence when doubt tries to creep back in. Click and continue with me over there, because this is just the beginning of understanding how profound your creative authority really is.